You're going to start with the Git. In 2-3 hours, you will know everything. So when somebody said DevOps, Dev and operation, right? DevOps. These are the word people often use together. So whenever you do development, you need to store your code. You need to store your code. So when you store your code, normally people store in their local machine. But if they store in local machine, it's not shareable. You cannot share with your group. So like example, if you are one person, no problem. But now the magic starts when you have more people, right? And they are not close to each other. Some people are in India, some people maybe in Mexico, some in Canada, some in US. So then they need a common repository. Speak with me. Common repository. Common repository means now, like A person write the code, B can read and modify, well, C can write and modify. So for that, you need some storage, which we call software version management repository. Speak with me. Software version management repository. It doesn't matter who you are, developer, QA, anyone who is writing code or writing program, they have to have this thing. Now, where you come in picture, you will install first. So you have to install. How to install? We'll talk about it. The second thing you need to configure. For configure means permission aspects, configure about certain project aspects. We'll talk about that. And then you should know commands. If you know commands, you can automate certain things, or sometimes you may have a problem which you can resolve it. Most of the interview, DevOps interview, I expect at least 2 or 3 questions you may see in the interview. Like they will ask, how's your Git experience? Now, if you say, I don't know, then further they will not talk because this is our first chapter, right? We can see that our overall class, this is our first chapter. So if you don't know first step, there is no point to go forward. Many of you do Terraform. Like example, Terraform means you want to create infrastructure. So when you create infrastructure, you will create a script. You will put your script in a Git. So Git is nothing but software version management. Python program, Java program, QA program, every program will go here. So if you don't have a common shared repository, then you cannot work with multi-team. And the whole organization will use similar tools and technology. And you are the one who is going to install, configure, and provide security aspect. Means who can access what. So it's very important. Now, let's go in the history. So I have a forum. Give me a few minutes so I can set the stage. So initially, when I started my career, we had many software. So the first software in interview, people will ask you, have you used any software? So early 2000, 2003, the software was CVS. Now, CVS is not like a CVS, like pharmaceutical store. CVS means Code Version Management System. It was designed very simple. Now, it's very important for you to understand. Misha, it's very important for you to understand because there will be a curveball in your interview. Curveball is, example, if you say, I know Git, then they will ask you differences. That's called curveball. Right away, you will know that you do not know enough. So CVS started with a lot of errors. It was designed as a code version management. I would say within a 1 or 2 year, SVN came. SVN stands for Software Version Management, which is kind of CVS, but it was good, means there was no error. CVS is more about Windows flavor. SVN support Windows, Linux, everything. SVN has a lot of plugin, a lot of GUI, a lot of things, so people love it. SVN is still used today. You will not see anywhere CVS. CVS is died. As soon as SVN came, CVS disappeared. These are different software. Just like if you use, like example, Microsoft Word, you have Word 2009, 2010, 2011. Yes or no? That's a Word. Similar, the CVS was the starting point. Since 2003, SVN came, which is very similar as CVS, but it fixed all the issue which CVS had. Even till today, many companies use SVN. Now you may ask, if SVN they are using software version management, then why should I learn Git? Shouldn't I learn SVN? So there is a subtle difference out there. And that difference you need to understand. If you can explain differences very well, then you are showing that you know pro. But when I'm explaining, don't do multitasking, because one question can kill your career. Because these are basic questions and you will not find easily when you are reading the material. Because I'm going to draw it, I'm going to explain it. So get the picture clearly. This is not the class where you do multitasking. Make sure you're focused, because any single point can break your interview. Make sense? This is a curveball that, hey, SVN is still work. Then why should I use Git? Are we understanding the question? Now let me draw the picture so you will understand. SVN has a one requirement. CVS and SVN have the same requirement that, let's say you are here and I'm here and someone is here. If they want to share the code, they have to go to common server. They have to go to common server. And the server has to be in corporate. It means if I'm driving car, I can't work. Why? Because I don't have internet. And if I have internet, I need to have a VPN. And VPN means I need to have a server. If I don't have a VPN access, if I don't have server access, it cannot work. Problem number one means you have to be connected. Speak with me. Connected means you have to have corporate connection. How can you? When you are going for camping, when you're in an airport, when you're in train, when you're in bus, do you think you will be connected? So there is a gap happen. Person say I was driving, person say I was traveling, person say I was in airport, person say because there is no way you can work. If you don't have a connection, you cannot work. So far so good. So that's a problem. But old fashioned, before COVID, we were 100% in office. That was not a problem. We go to office Monday to Friday, 8 to 5, we work, and server is in company. So we don't have issue. Once in a while we come home and we want to work, we connect with VPN, no problem. But then nowadays, last 4-5 years, people are traveling a lot. And if you're traveling, you're in airport and you don't have a good internet connection, you can't work. If person is going like some places, remote places where internet is not there, you cannot work. So now people started saying, man, this is not going to work. How can we be always connected? So then there was one problem. Problem number two, listen carefully. Problem number two, at single point of time, you have one file. So like example, if this guy is writing A, program A, so he has a file A. If I'm writing program B, so I have file B. If I'm writing program C, I have file C. All those things has to be identical in all machines. Identical in all machines. So if, let's say I want to work, and if I made a mistake in my file, if I made a mistake in my file, they all cannot work. Means anybody can break it. Speak with me. Anybody can break it. So you cannot go home. I've been working in this thing. We have a rule. If you break it, you fix it. So 4 o'clock train you miss. Why? Because you can't go home. You have to fix it. If you don't fix, no one can work. So one person mistake, entire team has to suffer. Because it is designed as a one copy. At single point of time, it's one copy. So example, if you're building a chair or table, there are so many, what you call bolts and nuts are there. One bolt is missing, you can't fix the chair. Make sense or not? Same concept work. So two concepts, all connected, always connected. And second is, anybody can make mistake, break entire system. And they all work in one copy, one version, one copy. So anytime you make a change, you need to bring other people change. They don't have a different copy. And that makes SVN a little challenging. So Git say, you know what, wait a minute. Both problems I will eliminate. First, you can work from airport. You can work from wherever you want. You don't have to connect. So far, so good. Which is right away, people like it. And second thing, which is the most important thing, everyone will have their own copy. So you don't have to worry about your neighbor. And neighbor is not a noisy neighbor. Speak with me. Neighbor is not a noisy neighbor. No one can kill my problem. Who cares about others? I can work independently. So Git came up with a very simple thing. If let's say I have 5 people, each one will have its own copy. But they work together before they go to production, they will have one copy. But if I'm doing development, they have their own copy. Why? Because let's say, example, I'm working for Amazon.com. I'm working for shopping cart. You are working for product search. You are working for payment. You are working on shipping. We don't have an interconnection. Shopping cart is independent. Payment is independent. Everything is independent. Then why would I get impact? So Git says you work independently. Shopping cart. You work in payment search. You know product search. No problem. But when you combine together, before you go to production, we'll have one code, which is people like it. Because when I'm doing development, I'm not thinking about production. But when I'm thinking about production, that time I will bring all together and merge it. Merge it. And this merge only DevOps engineer does. Who does? DevOps. So if somebody asks in interview, what are you doing? You're 30 to 20%, 30 to 20% of your role is to merge. Why? Because in your company where you're going to work, we'll have approximately 50 to 60 teams. How many teams? 50 to 60. And everyone will have a problem. You will be continuously teaching them how to do merge, and merge may have a problem. They call merge conflict. What do you call? Merge conflict. And you need to solve that conflict. Now, there are some prerequisites that you need to know a little bit Linux, a little bit. Linux 101, you need to know. Now, most of the students I taught Linux, so you guys are lucky that you know Linux come a little bit, because whenever conflict happens, you need to use VI editor. Sounds familiar? Yes. Say yes or no? Yes. Most people don't even know what is VI editor, so they don't work. Do you see that? VI editor is very old, and Git only use VI editor. So if you do not know VI editor, you cannot fix the conflict. Tonight we'll see the conflict, and you will see the VI editor. Remember, escape, shift colon, WQ. Sounds familiar? Escape, shift colon, WQ, or accept, escape, shift colon, Q. Yes or no? Q means quit, W means write and quit. So many people don't know Linux at all. So they cannot do conflict. Now, when you don't do conflict, you can't go to production. Now, interview question. There are two ways you can resolve conflict. How many ways? Two ways. One is called auto resolution. Auto resolution. So example, you are working on a product search, I'm working on a shopping cart. Will have ever conflict? No. So in that situation, that's called auto conflict. It automatically resolves that. Why? Because your file is different, my file is different. It will bring, and there is no problem. In that situation, auto conflict resolution will work. So first of all, let's say Vikram is working on file A. He is writing one method, I'm writing one method. Still, they are independent. So auto conflict will resolve it. So first of all, let's write, he write A, and I go and change the logic inside. Now there is no way auto conflict resolution will happen. In that case, manual conflict resolution will happen. What is manual means? I need to bring Vikram, I need to bring Vikram, I need to bring, and we need to do. So you will be continuously discussing with them. Why? Because this is going to happen. Why? Because he took a file 2 minutes back. So he has a file, and I took a file. Now he's trying to make a change. I try to make change. File is one. So when computer will check that we are touching the same line, it will not resolve. Then you have to do manual conflict. But if computer says, oh, you touch first 3 lines, and I touch last 3 lines, it will automatically resolve the conflict. Make sense or not? So this is one of the most pain point for you, conflict resolution. And conflict resolution means there are tools available. It will tell exactly what Vikram made change, what I made the change. You will see the line, green line, red line, and you have to see that, is it possible? Sometimes I can copy paste his code in mine, resolve. There are techniques we need to follow, but they will ask you, how do you minimize? How do you minimize the conflict? Ask him not to touch a file. He can work on some different file. So you have to come up with a strategy. If you have continuous conflict, you did not do your job well. Why? Because why you are touching, all people are touching same file. Make sense? All people should not touch the same file. You need to divide and conquer. That's why Agile comes in picture. You guys know Agile? I thought we had class yesterday, yes or no? So in Agile, there is a concept called epic, story, and you kind of divide the group in a different segmentation. So there are 2 people should not be working on the same code. at the same time. And if they work together, they do pair programming. Speak with me. Pair programming, rather than having two people working on two separate files, they should work together and work on one file. So there's no conflict. Make sense or no? If he's going to change a file and I'm going to change, why would I change independent? I can say, Vikram, let's work together. I have my code. Why don't you do? I provide the, he will commit, we're done. So you have to use the strategy called pair programming to reduce the conflict, or different divisions. One epic you work, product search. You work shopping cart. You work on a payment. You work on a shipping. If your epic itself is separate, it will be a folder. So if your folder is separate, you won't have conflict. Question?
Yeah, that was, I guess, sort of my question is, in what scenario would that happen where, I mean, you just said that if it's development, everybody is working on their own file. So in what scenario would I go in and work on the logic on the code that you wrote?
You will not see, all of you write program. So you write a program, and I need to touch that program. What am I going to do? I'm going to work the same file, because the file, it's not like you write A means only you can do it. In a company, it's a shared program. So whatever you write, I will be changing. Other people will be changing.
But that's after I commit or check it in, right?
Not after. Let's say you have a file A yesterday. You started working, right? And I started working. So now it is possible you are working on old file, I'm working with new file. It is going to happen. And I'll show you today. The reason it happens because two people are working on the same file. If the file has a different method, it won't be a problem. But if it is same method and you have multiple line like this, then the conflict will happen. Make sense? And you, like, think about it. If you're resume, then you work independently. But if I'm creating a PowerPoint, project PowerPoint, sounds familiar? Everyone will be working on a slide, yes or no? If you're working on a separate slide, no conflict. But if you're working on the same slide, conflict will happen. You guys agree or not? We can't say why you are working on the same slide.
Is it the same concept that the big stores, they cannot print the same receipt number?
No,
No?
it has nothing to do with that.
Okay.
Think about, PowerPoint, right? If you are working on a project, presentation, 5 people are working on the same slide, sometime you will modify my line or I'll remove your file. Happen or not, right? How do we avoid? That's called conflict resolution. Guaranteed question will be there in interview. There are 2 ways you solve. One is automatic, which is preferred. In order to do automatic, you have to use proper style. And I'll show you how to do that. If you do not know how to do proper style, you will be crazy. Means you will be spending a lot of time in conflict resolution. Why? It's happening every few minutes. It means you can't do anything. And we are talking about 50 teams. And 50 teams, each team will have 8 persons. So 400 people are doing conflict. You will go crazy. You will quit the job. Why? Because there is no humanly possible to work that. To solve that, create a structure. So example, think about second. I'm teaching here. Other instructor is teaching there. Will I have conflict or not? My voice, his voice, yes or no? So what I need to do? I need to have other teacher in different room, yes or no? If they are in different room, I won't have conflict, noise conflict. Do you agree? Make sense or no? Simple thing. Let's say I'm using WebEx. Same time, if someone is using my WebEx, what will happen? Right? To avoid the situation, Narendra uses his WebEx, Harish uses it. I have to pay 3 times because I pay 3 times, but I won't have conflict. Are you understanding? So you have to think about that. If you don't think, you will be paying punishment to yourself. You will have a lot of punishment because people first complain. Productivity loss will happen. Productivity loss because of your style. In interview, they will definitely ask, have you done this thing? And there are some techniques I'm going to show you. So far, so good? Clear? So what is the advantage of Git? First advantage, work from anywhere. Second advantage, you are not connected. Third advantage is one person cannot break it. Everyone has it their own copy. Make sense? These 3 reasons, and it's open source. So you don't have to pay money. SVN is also open source, but Git is very flexible. At this moment, 99% company is using Git. So if you do not know that.
Microsoft purchased Git.
Yeah. So Microsoft purchased Git, but Git is still Git. Microsoft purchased, like, I think 2017 or 18, $2 billion. But they kept name Git on it. They didn't change the name. So Git is one of the building blocks for DevOps. So if somebody said, what are the tools and technology you're using for DevOps? Git is the building block. Git mainly used by developers. You will be also using when you write Terraform script, or you write like a cloud formation script, or you write any script. Like example, you write a CLI command, then you write a Git. So first of all, people on phone, any questions? Good. Okay.
Yeah, good.
Now let's go forward. So first of all, Git is very popular. So there is no way you can say in interview that I don't know Git. It's open source, it's scalable, secure, very fast. Almost every company is using Git. Now, Git has two kind of setup. So let's draw the picture. Make sure the picture is clear. So in your interview, you don't have to say that I am new. So almost every company will use cloud. So if you use cloud, they will have somewhere Git repository, which is nothing but cloud Git repository. So repo, we call Git repo. Somewhere you will have Git repo. Most people use Git repo in a cloud. In that cloud, you will have your account. Company will have account. Please pay attention. Company will have account. And in account, you will have multiple projects. Multiple projects. Multiple projects. You can have as many projects you want. So possible. So company will have only one account. Why? Because if company has one account, it's easy to manage. Can I have multiple accounts? You can, but then it's pretty hard to manage. Make sense or not? So one account, you can have many projects. Now you as a developer, DevOps, sorry, right? You give permission who can access what. You will give permission, like example, you can say you access this project, and you can say you access this project. You will give permission. You will remain admin. You will remain admin. So you need to know how to give permission. So first of all, pretty easy. Now, what most people do, some of you are taking Azure class. Yes, sir. Please pay attention, and battery make sure charge. Okay, this is not simple thing. Drink coffee or anything. Right? Making sure you understand, because this is something you will not learn from book. Make sure your battery is fully charged. So in order for you to give permissions, you are not going to do manually. So you will use Azure Entra ID. Sounds familiar? Entra ID, sometimes we call Active Directory. You will add user here. You will add user here, and this user you will connect here. So here you will create a group. You will create a group, project group 1. So project group 1, and you add people in that, and you give permission that you can access this repository. This way you can make SSO enabled. Speak with me. SSO means single sign-on. So you log in with your corporate email ID, and because you are part of the Git repo group, you will have permission. So you don't have to enter separate username and password. Make sense? How you manage the permission? Through Azure Entra ID. Make sense? Git itself does not give you that much granular control. So Git allows you plugin to connect with Entra ID. In Entra ID, you create a group, project group 1, project group 2, project group 3. You add people in that group, and you can say this group can access this folder. And now those people have permission. If person leave, you remove that person from the group. Make sense? Question. Project we create by default is a private. By default, it is a private. You don't want public, outside people can come and access. Make sense? Question number 2. Why do we do SSO enable? To come on. Why we do SSO enable Git? If it is a private, I can use properly. Why would I do SSO enable?
Going to multiple times sign in.
One is that. Second,
Secure.
you are logging only that way. Because Git itself is a separate. Entra ID is separate. So if you don't do SSO, then people can work from home randomly and they directly log into Git. But because you are doing SSO, so it's always coming through one way. So you can track who is accessing what. Makes sense? And you can control the permission. If you directly go to Git, then you have zero control because Git is not under your control. Git is different. Enter ID is fully under your control because you are the one who's creating group, you are the one who's giving permission. So it's very important that you do SSO enable, single sign-on, where everything is controlled. So easy answer. Anytime in interview, people ask, how do you control permission? Enter ID. Easy answer. Everything is SSO enabled. Do not allow any access. Jira, you cannot access like typing Jira. You have to go through Azure Enter ID. Everything you have to control, because this way you have full control who access what, when, and how. So if tomorrow somebody hijack, you can remove that, control that. And no one should be accessing any company site from anywhere. They should go through only Enter ID. Security purpose. Clear? So we will create a repo tonight. Now, I can't teach you how to connect Enter ID because many of you do not know Azure, but some of you will learn as you go through the project. The second thing, we'll use our laptop. In our laptop, we'll install Git client. Git client. All of your team member will install Git client. Now, Git client by default are two types, Windows and Linux. I normally use Linux client because that's all I learn. Windows client, I never use it, never in the sense of no one uses in real life. So that's why I didn't use it. But you can use Windows client if you want to. But I like Linux because commands are easy. Yes, sir. So most of the people use Git Linux client. Now the clients needs to have established credential to connect to the repo. You are the one will give three things. First, repo URL. You will give repo URL. Where is your repo? So you will give repo URL. And you will give them username and password. If they already have their username and password, then you don't have to give. But if person start first day, you may need to give them. Without URL, client will not be able to connect. Make sense? So think about your accessing bank URL. You enter bank URL, username and password, then you log in. Same thing. This is the bank where your code are stored. You are the one who's going to give. Make sense? So how many software needed? Two. One is Git repo, which is a central, and Git client. Everyone will have Git client. Make sense? Good news, these are free. So Git client is free. Git repo, you have to pay money per person, approximately $75. $75, I think a year. $75 a year. So it's not that much. Make sense? So if somebody asks, these are paid version. What we are going to learn is the free version. So when we use free version, we will be doing public. But when you are working on a paid version, you have private. Right? Git itself is a complex. You can go much deeper and you can spend a lot of time in that. But what we're going to learn is 80 to 90%. There is a 10% which you need to learn part of your projects or internship or your real life. But 90% things you will learn in 3 hours. So whatever you learn tonight will give you 90% confidence. Make sense? Good. So now what we're going to do is we're going to first create a repo. We're going to create a repo. We all will create our own repo. Are you understanding? Because in real life, you will have one repo. But because I don't have a one repo. If I give my repo, it won't be a learning. So I want you to know how to create a repo, and then we'll install Git client, and then we'll start exchanging the data. Sounds good? So let's go to Google, and we'll create our first repo. Just search github.com. People on phone, just use GitHub, github.com. Let me know if you are running with the issue. I'm going to put a link in the chat. Stop me anytime in case if things are not very clear.
Vishal, can I use terminal and VS Code?
Yeah, I'll show you. You should be able to do. I do not have a Mac, but 80% chances you should not have any problem. First, this one you have to use through browser, which we are creating a repo. We have not installed client. Client, you can talk about terminal, but right now, can I count everyone is here? GitHub.com, right? Now, those who do not have an account, you may want to click on sign up. When you click on sign up, it will ask you to create an ID, password. It will ask you to do all those things. And sometimes they will send you email. Make sure you check the email, activate your email. And sometimes they will ask you play game. They just want to make sure you're human, right? So why don't you create an account if you don't have an account? I already have an account. I've been using this for many years, so I have an account. But in case if you do not have an account, click on sign up, enter the information. It's a little tricky. They will ask you to play game, and if your game is not correct, sometimes they will ask you CAPTCHA, sometimes they will ask you all, just to make sure you're human, because they don't want automated software do this kind of work. Once you have an account, log in. I have an account, so I cannot, I'll just show you here. You can follow this information, username, password, and all, but I already have an account, so I'm gonna sign in. You have an account? Good, good, very good. Once you create an account, give me thumbs up. Good, good. Thank you, Mike. Good. Everyone is good? Account is created. Awesome. Now we're going to do a few exercises. This exercise, which we give you confidence. I am sure you may not see this one. Do you agree? You may not have this one. Say yes or no. You have it? Yeah. So if it is there, it might not be activated. This is called Copilot. Speak with me.
Copilot.
So Copilot is AI tool, which does work for you. So if you are having problem, hey, I don't know. So you can ask question and Copilot will read and answer. Most important part is when you are writing a test cases or programming, this is one of the best tool. I use at my work more often. If you ask me, without this, I can't even now perform. Just like Google, right? You used to say, if you don't give me Google, I can't perform. If you don't give me Copilot, I can't perform. Though I like ChatGPT, but my job doesn't give me ChatGPT, so they give me Copilot. I'm okay with that. But it's a wonderful tool. So we'll cover that. Some of the exercise we'll cover with Copilot. You need to know how to use it. Most people don't know how to use it, so they have it, but they don't use it. It average increase 30 to 40% productivity, which is quite high, right? Now, in case somewhere you see green button, new, click on it. Click on new. So when you click on new, you will see something like this. Yes, sir. Now, please pay attention. This will be your user ID. This is your user ID. It will be important. So whenever we try to configure, please don't use my ID, because sometimes you're following me and you use TS Patel 02. It won't work because my ID, only I know the password. You will be using your ID, right? Today we are doing the first exercise. So today is what? June 18th. So let's write June 18th without space. Always remember, when you are doing such kind of work, try not to give space because it's a Linux, and try not to do case sensitive, uppercase, lowercase, just make lowercase. So this is your project. So you as a DevOps guy, and you are building means you have a new team, then you can say shopping cart, or you can say product search, or you can say Amazon.com. You will create this name based on the team or based on the project, which you work in Agile Scrum. So in Agile Scrum, if you say you are developing a web store, then this will be web store. In Agile Scrum, if you can say shopping cart, then this is the shopping cart. Make sense? So that's why it's very important that you should know Agile. Because if they say, hey, create a repository for Epic, then you can do that also. But project can have Epic. So one project can have Epic. Some DevOps person create Epic separately and then merge at the lid. The choice is yours. You have to work with your development team. Can't make independent decisions. You need to tell, do you want me to separate or you want me to do project main? Like example, Amazon.com, a shopping cart is a folder. A product search is a folder. Shipping is a folder. So you can work with them. Depends on what they need. Sometimes company want to have one project and sub project. I normally prefer microservice approach. Speak with me. Microservice approach means each epic is separate. Each epic is an independent deployment. We don't try to do all at once. All at once is called monolithic. Monolithic. All at one is old fashioned. So example, when I was working in Chrysler, Chrysler.com has 20 folders. So if one folder has a problem, you have a problem. Today, most of the, if 20 folder, each folder is separate. Login is separate, product search is separate, shopping is separate, shipping is separate, payment is separate. So you can deploy each one independently, which is called microservice approach. Now, many of you.
So, are you, when you're, so for your repository, if you had what's called the Amazon site, do you then create another folder underneath that, or with all these different pieces?
Same repository.
Are you?
So Amazon. So this is where I'm saying, if I'm doing microservice approach, then here I'll say service 1, service 2, service 3, service 4. But when I'm building the package, at that time I can rename, but each service independent. So Amazon.com I'll not create, because if I try to do Amazon.com, it will become a monolithic because it is consists with multiple services, and you don't want to do big bundle and deploy. That's the old mindset. So new mindset is, hey, you work as a whatever you are working, but we will have each service as a repository. So each service you have 1 or 2 person working. So if you go work on Amazon, each repository, whichever repo we say, 2 people are working on that, and they create multiple. So it allows parallel deployment, parallel development, and it's easy, and you will have zero conflict because only limited people are working. Conflict will be minimal. So Mike,
So
up to Amazon.com.
So I get the idea that you wouldn't create the Amazon.com, you just create all your separate folders. If you're working on multiple sites and multiple projects, your Git turns into a mess then, doesn't it? Or how do you handle?
No, why you're saying it will be mess?
Because you would have team 1 and team 2 underneath TS Patel for every. You'd have multiple projects, or you just name them differently based on your project, I guess.
Yeah. So report structure, which is called organization structure, like I have a manager and I have 5 teams. We don't need to show here that manager approach. Here, let's say I have 5 teams. Each 5 team has its own repository. Here, they don't need to know who is manager, technically speaking, because here we are talking about version management. So it's each team will have their own service ownership. So the way Amazon works, Amazon has 185 services. So they have 2 people, 1 team, 2 people, 1 team. They keep 2 or 3 people, and they are service owner. Means they develop, design, modify, deploy everything they do. 2 or 3 people. So they don't have like, okay, the manager has 5 teams, then they are in one folder structure now. Everything parallel development. The reason you will get a speed. But if you want to do bundle and you want to label, there are ways you can do. But here you do repos separately. Why? Because each team will have an independent opportunity to develop and deploy. If you combine, you can, but then it will slow you down. So there are ways we can do, which is Jenkins. When we cover Jenkins, you can bring one, you can bring it and you can package together, Amazon.com. You can do that. So there are ways later on you can do. So right now we are talking about Git. team perspective. But let's say if you want to do deployment perspective, you say, I need A and B together. You can do that part in Jenkins. So in Jenkins, you can merge this thing to and deploy as a one package if you want to. But nowadays, everyone is deployed independently. So you don't have to worry about that one manager has a 5 teams. No. Ideally, one team or one person should be dedicated to one service, ideally, or one repository, ideally. The reason, less conflict. But it is possible one person is working on 2 projects, but they will have permission, but they will have 2 different projects and they can work parallelly. And you can switch project 1, project 2. That is not a problem.
Like the same person is authorized to work in 2 different places, but it won't be conflict.
It won't conflict because you're in different room, right? Morning you started your room A, and noon you are in different room. Conflict will only happen when you are in same file. Make sense? So right now, June 18 is our repository. Please understand this repository normally depend on the naming convention, either team or product which you are working on. So right now we just did June 18, but actually in real life it will be shopping cart. In my case, in my team, I have teams, right? We say order service, we say payment service, we say mail service, we say customer service, we say claim service. That these are service, and each service will have people assigned. They work on service level. So we do all microservices. What is microservices? Very simple, end-to-end, tiny layer, UI, service, and database, end-to-end, tiny layer. So you don't have dependency. And there are techniques you will learn as you go further. Good so far? Okay. Now you have 2 choices, public or private. You choose who can see, commit the repos. In real life, you do normally private. But because you are learning here, we're going to do public because we can share each other. So if I want to give my URL to you, you can access. But if I do private, you will not be able to access. Make sense? So we'll do public for now. If you want to give some descriptions, you can definitely give, but it's optional. Now, if you go here, I would highly recommend to click on this. Never miss this. I'll tell you secret. Sorry, question? Yeah, always remember, check this thing. I learn hard way, so I want to make sure you all understand. When we do Jenkins, which is maybe next week, yeah. So next week when you do Jenkins, Jenkins has a one problem. Listen carefully, this is a bigger problem. If you have repository, and repository is nothing but folder in a cloud. Repository is nothing but folder in a cloud. But if repository empty, it means folder has 0 file. Folder has a 0 file, then Jenkins does not pull it. Make sense? Jenkins does not pull it. So to solve that problem, I do check mark. So if I check mark, it create a file called readme. It means it brings that. I learned hard way many times why it's not working. Because when you start the first time, you started, there is no developer. So there is no file. Jenkins does not bring. So always make a habit. README is not going to create any problem. README is just how to use it.
So what you're saying is when you have no code or anything in the folder, this acts as a placeholder.
This is a placeholder, and this is also give you opportunity for someone how to use this. So Git will write instructions. It's not just an empty file. Git will write instruction how to use it, which you anyhow want to give, right? So this is the techniques. Never forget. Next, interview question. Git ignore. I often ask this question. So Git ignore is what happened. There are 2 types of file. One is called real. We call code base. Code base means, for example, if you write Java, then .java is your real file. But when you compile, it create a class file. It create a class file, which is called transit file or intermediate file. So you compile. The original file is source file, which is .java. So when you compile, you create a class file. Now here we are saying, don't use class file. Don't use class file. So here you can ignore some of the file. What that means? Because when I'm storing, I don't want to store everything. I need to store only software, only source, not the generated file. The generated file I can generate anytime as long as I have source. Are we understanding or not? So example, if I have a.java, I only store a.java. But if I compile, I will have a.java and a.class. I don't have to store a.class. Why? Because it's a transit file or it is a created file. Original file I need to store. So we don't store any file which is generated by compiler. So this ignore command, if you say Java, it will never add .class file. It will filter out. Otherwise, garbage will go there, and more garbage will go, things will be slow. Why am I saying this is an interview question? Because 90% chances people will add all. So ask yourself question. When you have hard drive, you copy everything, movies, resumes, document, and very soon hard drive will run out of space. Yes or no? And then you start cleaning. But what if you say, you know what, I will only store this file, then you will have a hard drive which will last longer. The Git has a limited storage. So if you keep adding item, every time you're downloading will take time. Then building will take time. It means your pipeline will take a long time. And if pipeline takes long time, productivity will impact. Example, let's say I'm working on order service. Let's say it has a 2 GB data. You download, it will take approximately a minute or two, depends on your speed. After that, you build it, again 5 minutes. So every time you're adding minutes, during that time, no one is working, they're waiting. But if you remove those unnecessary files, that gigabyte will be now maybe megabyte. It means download will be done in few seconds. Deployment will happen in few seconds. Now you're giving team productivity time. So rather than 20 minutes of wait time, you are deploying in 2 minutes. Good thing or bad thing? That's why Git ignore is very important.
But here it's saying dot git ignore. So you said if it's Java source code.
I'll show you. I'll show you. So click here and write Java. Java. So it knows what to ignore. So this is the file. It will say in Java, it knows that Java, what are the intermediate files. So because I selected Java, Git ignore will understand, hey, oh, I know Java. Java create a class file, I'll not store it. Make sense? So if you say Python, it will do PYC file. So it knows what to ignore. Make sense?
Based on the programming language or
Programming
the source code.
Yeah, so it has a template. It has a template, yes.
So I can, for the interview question, what's the short answer like? To say
So-
storage,
No, Git ignore is not only storage, three things, right? First of all, unnecessary file I don't want to store.
Okay.
And because I don't store unnecessary file, my Git repo will be tiny, right? The size wise. So I can download faster, build faster. So overall, CI/CD pipeline will take less time. It means productivity will increase, right? The goal, remember, always remember, your goal is to download, build it, test it, and deploy it. All should happen in less than few minutes. Less than few minutes. Many times people don't know, so they spend 30-40 minutes. So sometimes they will ask question, how normal CI/CD pipeline takes? And if it's a 30 minutes, it means not good. In today's market, think about it. If I just do this, check it out. Count how many do. How many I did? That's a 8 second. Think about 30 minutes. And all 8 people are waiting. Customers are waiting. And this is not going to happen on one day. This is every day you are wasting time. Think about total time waste. So where you are just adding that, you suddenly save like 1 minute, lifetime 1 minute. Make sense? CI/CD pipeline may be daily or maybe weekly, depends on your need. So you multiply total time, you will save a lot of time. Right? Next, we don't have to select license because we don't have to worry about license. Now, please understand, most of the books and material, they call master. Here we have main. Most of the book will refer master, but here we have main branch. So this is one of the things I want you to understand hard way. Before, long time back, like I would say 3-4 years back, they used to call master. Last 3-4 years, they started using main. Most books, most communication will people will use word master. But unfortunately, here it is main. Make sense? Do you see the difference? So if you use master like ChatGPT or Google, or it won't work. The name here is, makes sense. Did I mention? Some of you do homework and say it's not working. I'm not sure why it's not working, because you're using bookish book. Mostly, almost all books will say master, but recently they changed it to main. I don't know why. So you need to remember this thing, otherwise it will not work. And what is the main and all, I'll explain. So right now, click on the create repository, and congratulations, that's your first repository created. Was it hard at all? This is one of your job. You will be creating repository for team. Do you think it's hard? People on phone? Very good. David, it's okay to give me thumbs up. Dhyan, I want to make sure you're awake. It's me. Come on, give me thumbs up. Only one thumbs up I got. Two. Reshma, thank you. Thumbs up also nowadays costing more money, huh? Guys, more active, right? 3 people out of 11 people, huh? I expected more. My success rate is only 33%. Right? Please, if you work remotely, always be active. Give some shape of acknowledgement. Hey, I'm with you. I'm following. I'm okay. Right? Now, let's click on Git ignore just for knowledge. These are 2 files you added, readme and Git ignore. Let's click on it. So if you click on Git ignore, it will give you clue what is going to ignore. So you can see these are the things it will ignore. Look at that. You see that? These are now, if you try to add, it will not add for you. Good thing or bad thing? Pretty good. It will
Can you
stay
go
on.
back and change it?
You can add, it's an editable file. You can add, modify, but it's a good idea that you start with a template. So you have most of the thing already there. So in case if you want to change, you can, but 90% things automatically.
Like if you wanted to make sure all the zip files are saved,
Yeah,
then you
remove.
just go and take the zip.zip out of it.
Yeah, remove. Good. Okay. Now, do you see here main? Journey. How class to teach, okay? Energy, water, coffee. Oh, please help me here. I'm fully energetic, okay? This is a career building exercise, okay? I don't want you to be feel tired and all. Everyone is able to see main, okay? Please remember, we are not seeing master, we are having main. So when you do ChatGPT, books, Google, web, everywhere people will say master because it was referred with the old naming convention. Now, if you see here, it does maintain initial commit. So it's already there. Now, if you can go back to your project, let's go back to your project. Click your project back. So if you click on project back, this is where you see here. Good. Now, this is a project under my account. And here I have 2 files. Now, there are two ways you can add a file here. One, use browser. You can add a browser and you can add a file through browser. When I add this file will be lifetime, will be there, just like a Gmail, just like a Google Docs. You add the file, it will be there, it will be stored forever. So first you can add through browser, which in real life you don't do it, but I'll teach you. The second way you do is use your computer. You will install Git client, and then Git client using this green button will get the URL. Using this green button, we get the URL, and then we'll log in with this URL. So when we log in, we have a username and password. So then my Git client will know this folder structure. Then there are mantra, add, commit, and push. Speak with me. Add, commit, and push. Always you follow in 3 sequence. Add, commit, and push. Add, commit, and push. If you do that, the client file will also show up here. Make sense? If you do that, 60% Git you already know. 60%. Why? With add, commit, and push, if you ask me, as a normal developer does 60 to 70 times in a day. Every day. Every day they do. Add, commit, and push. They do 60 to 70 times. But when they do push, conflict may happen. So if they have, 1 second. If 60 to 70 times conflict happen, it means you're gonna go crazy. Because they're gonna keep pulling you. Make sense or no? Now, it's not one team, you have 40 teams. So 60 times 40 teams, time 8 people. There is no way you can survive. So your choice to do, continually go crazy or divide and conquer. Any question on phone? Okay, so first we're going to do browser. Now you guys are smart, you're taking this class, you know how to use mouse. But if you don't know mouse uses, I normally what I do is I take this boundary and I drag this guy here. I drag this guy here. So you can see here, I will have like, if I drag it, it will be half like that. Check it out. Make sense? So first thing, drag and make it half. Yes.
Yes.
Good. Now, in your computer, whichever works for you, I'm going to start a notepad. Those who are Mac, you can use any editor. Those who are Mac, you can use any editor and create a small file, whichever file you like. Just create a file. So I'm using Notepad, but those who are Mac use Indian chocolate or anything. Then I'll get you for you. Chocolate or hot water, tea, anything, right? Trust me, it's very difficult. Okay, I'm not just telling you. It's very difficult to teach someone who continuously having an energy problem. Okay, make sure energy has to be there. So we create a notepad. In notepad, those who are Mac, you can use any editor. And let's say this is first line. This is first line. This is first line. And I'm going to save this file in my download folder. So file, save as, file, save as, file, save as, file, save as. So file, save as, and download folder, I'm going to say data.txt. Data.txt. You can give any name. Doesn't need to be this name. So I just stored into download. Mac user store wherever you have access to. Give any name. I'm giving data.txt and I'm going to save it. Very simple. Okay. So now when you save it, so data.save, this file is saved. I save under download folder. So this file is now saved under download folder. Good so far? David and others, any questions? Good. At least I was looking for something confirmation. Some confirmation is very, very helpful. I don't want to keep going without your acknowledgement, but anything you give, I'll take it. Thank you, Malaki. Right? Right? Please be generous to give thumbs up. Yes, good. Yes, no, yes. That's called communication, right? But otherwise, I'm not teaching to you. I'm teaching to computer, right? And I need people connection here. Okay. Because if you don't do this thing properly, don't expect later on exercise will be correct. These are basic exercise. As we go further, things will become harder. Now, if you are here, I'm gonna normally what I normally do is you can see here, I have data.txt, so I can drag this thing and put it on this side wall. So you can see here, I can drag this thing so I can see both sides. Yes, sir. Again, I'm hoping you know how to use computer. So you double click here and drag it to this side. So this is half side and this is half side. So I can see both screen. Now you can see here, I have a file. There are two ways I'm going to show you. So data.txt, I can drag it, drag it, drag it, drag it, drag it until I get upload. Make sense? So check it out. So I'm going to drag it, so drag it, and you can see I'm coming here. I'm not seeing upload here, right? So let's see here. There's a plus sign here. You see this plus sign, right? Yes or no? So if you don't get up like a upload or something, right? If you are not getting upload, then you can do this way. Click on plus sign. So when you do plus sign, you can say upload files. Yes or no? Upload files. Upload files. And now when you do upload files, now you do drag and drop. Drag and drop, it will go nicely. Yes or no? Do you see? Drag and drop. Make sense? So I am having here, and then you write here initial, write just name initial upload, and then commit. Initial upload and commit. Initial upload and commit. Good so far? And press it. And congratulations. Your file is there. Give me thumbs up if you're able to see this thing. Was it hard at all? So sometimes if you have like simple file, you drag and drop. Sometimes drag and drop is easy. Now, let's say if I click on the data.txt, you will see the things which I have added. So data.txt, if you click on this, you will see this is the first line. Do you see that? Yes.
Oh, we did not click anything on those.
Commit. Yeah.
We
Just
made
write
it.
it initial and
Ah.
just commit. That's it. Commit. And if you click on that file, you will see that this is the first line. Do you agree? Yes, sir. Now go back to your notepad, and I'm going to write this is second line. This is second line and save. So I'm kind of changing that file. Yes, sir. I'm changing this file. This is changed in my local machine. The server has old file. So I'm going to now upload one more time. So it will maintain the version history. It will maintain the version history. Version history means old file, newer file, newest file. You will see all this thing. Okay. So now I'm here. I'll go back to here. Click here. So go back to here. So if I go back to here, I will be clicking here, and of course I save it, mama. I did save. File save. I did save. Absolutely. After making change, always save it, right? Now click on add file. Click on add file. This time I'm not going to drag and drop. Instead, I'll upload here. Check it out. So I'm going to say add file. I'm going to upload files. Upload files. So in upload files, I'm going to click here, choose your file, choose your file, choose your file. Sorry, any problem? Hello, any problem? Now choose your file, and in choose your file, go to that file which you like, double click on that file. So you can upload any file, but I want to upload data.txt. I double click on it, so file is here. Make sense? I can see my file name, and here I'll say second upload. Just give any name, second upload. So this is your new file, second upload, and then say commit. Commit. Yes, sir. Now commit that. So that file will be added. Now I'm kind of curious what happened with this file. How file still, you can see here, whatever your latest, it is showing here. But if you click here, you will be able to see two versions. Make sense? So click on the data.txt. So if you click on data.txt, you'll see both files here. Do you see that? Line 1 and line 2. Yes, sir. And if you see history, click on history. Click on history. You will see the history. Good. Yes, sir. Initial file, second file. Say yes. Yes, sir. So this way you can see. Now here, when you click on this, it gives you differences also. So if you click here, like example, if I click here, so this is verified, and I want to show you something. I think I need to click here. Let's click on second upload. So if you click on second upload, you can see the color coding. Do you see that? So the first you had this, but this file has this. So this way you know what happened. So this minus means remove, plus means added. Minus means remove, plus means added. So if you have conflict, somebody delete the file or delete the line, you may be able to see that. There is no way you will lose your data. And this is the reason people like Git, because it's a peace of mind. It's kind of repository, means a bank locker. You put it, it will be safe. Any questions so far? So far, so
Yeah, all you did was add a line, but you got 1, 1, and 2, and then on like mine it shows 1, 2, and 3.
you might have pressed enter. That's okay. You might have space or something, yes or no? If it is
Well,
seen,
I'm not seeing that minus
yeah,
that you've
so
got.
ideally you should see the minus. Are you guys seeing the minus? Ideally you should. Ideally you should. So somewhere maybe
Is it
initial
doing
file.
that because this we clicked on the second upload? So on the second upload, what it's saying is it deleted the first line, then added the first line again, and then
Correct.
the second.
Right. Yeah. As long as you see the content, the latest content should be available here, then you're good. You should not miss the first line. Though second time when I upload, this 2 item was there. So we all should see the similar thing because we are doing similar operation. Good. Okay. Now please understand, while you're doing that, there's one thing I want you to understand here. This is called commit. This will be a question in your interview. How does Git perform the commit? So please understand, Git itself nothing but it's just like a repository on a cloud. And your team members, please understand, in your team members, they continuously doing commit. They're doing continuously commit. So what Git does, it commit based on the time as a version. Time as a version. So Git use time, current time, when you're committing and create a version. So because of the time it is a version, conflict will be minimal because it maintains each one has its own version. So Git, whenever you commit, Git internally use time and create its whole copy. So when you commit, Git another copy it creates. Each time it create a copy, it use time as a version. So at single point of time, Git will have many versions, but SVN you only have one version. So whenever you commit, Git will create a version. So you can always go back, and when it Git create a version, it creates complete version. But SVN, they create only one version. It keeps changing the file, but overall package will be one. It copy entire thing. The reason, at single point of time, Git is always working. In SVN, at single point of time, may not work. Why? Because anybody can break it. Make sense or no? So Git always create a version and it use time. Yes.
So since it uses time, you mentioned that conflicts can happen, but very rarely. It would just be based on if Jeremy and I submitted the same file with no changes. Both our files are the same at the same exact second, then
Auto merge will happen. Conflict auto resolution will happen. If there is no change or there are segments are different, automatically merge means conflict resolution will happen. But if you are touching the same file, one will get error. No matter what happen in the life, same second, it goes up to millisecond 4s. So at that level of precision will not happen. And even it happens, out of two, one will be the first. Whoever is that? That will get a chance, second will get error. It uses 4 milliseconds. So it's all the way, not only second, it goes to millisecond. And that's why it's pretty hard to experience that type of precision that two people, but first one always win. Second one will get error. Question on phone. Okay. Now, let me go back to the forum and I'll give you a thing. We are going to go to this link. I'll type in a chat so you can go here. Let me go here. Why don't you guys go here and type this URL? Let me put the URL in the chat first of all, so you have access to that. And I'll also put it here. So why don't you type this URL? Type this URL, https git-scm.com download. Type that URL. So when you type, you will come somewhere here. In case if you're not able to see, just click on download. So git-scm downloads. Good. Life is good. Now here, those who are a Mac user, you may need to download Mac. Those who are Linux user, you can download Linux. I will be downloading Windows. Make sense or not? Again, choice is yours, whichever you want to download, because my operating system is Windows. Though I download Windows one, but the client is Linux one. If I have Linux operating system, then client will be different. Mac operating system. I have Windows, so I'm going to click on it. So when I click on it, it will give me options. Which one you download? I will download the first one, and it will start downloading. Once you download it, normally go to download folder. You go to download folder and next, double click and next, and install. You don't have to change anything. Just follow that and install. So I'm going to click here. It will start downloading. It may take a minute or two to download. So I click on this first one and you download. Once you download it, just follow next. Please understand, if you don't know how to install, the DevOps may not be the right class for you, because you will be installing thousands of software, not one, not two, thousands. And some of the software, no one in the world will have an install. You are the only one going to install. So you need to be ready on that.
On the back, I have downloads. When I click on it,
Mm.
it says homebrew backboard,
Mm.
Xcode, Pioneer installer, building from source code.
I'm not a Mac guy, honestly.
Yeah, I'm just.
So do you have binary? The Mac has a called deb package, deb. Normally people download deb. So when you download it, it will install in your machine. Source you
No.
have to compile. That would be difficult. Sorry.
I use terminal to download the Git.
What
Mac
do you-
terminal.
No. What do you mean by terminal to download?
Like using the homebrew, install homebrew, and then I
I'm-
installed Git. Yeah.
Are you understanding?
So installing it through.
Yeah,
I'm not a Mac guy, so sorry for my ignorance here. As long as you follow that, you're fine. And I last time also mentioned this class requires a little bit, Windows flavor, because in real life, Mac, this kind of activity will be different unless I assume Mac is a pro guy. I always tell people, Mac is a pro guy. You will have a harder difficulty as you go further. So in case if you have another machine Windows, maybe I encourage you to download a BIHE, because either Mac has a Windows profiler, or you can have a Windows machine, because every time you will have this type of problem. Special, because Mac is a special, it's a Microsoft technique to kill Windows, sorry, Mac. Microsoft does not help Mac, because they don't want people to use Mac. But anyway, whoever is downloading, if you download it, you should be able to get the software in your local machine, and then follow, double click, and then follow next, and you should be able to install. Good, Jeremy? Good.
Question. So I installed it. I hit punch, get bash.
Hello. Alex. Follow next. Did you install?
This.
That's it. Just wait for a second.
Okay.
Wait for a second. Install and next. Just install. How to use, I'm going to explain.
Tushar, how do we configure it?
That's what I'm going to explain.
Oh, sorry.
I'm going to explain. And just to give you an idea, this is not a data analysis class, okay, Maliki? I hope you are taking DevOps class. Talk to Harish that this class is going to be harder class for data analysis type of student. This is not for data analysis or cloud. This is DevOps. So make sure you talk to Harish.
Finish it, right?
Sorry. Next, and finish. Next, and finish. Good. Okay. At this moment, I'm hoping everyone has downloaded, double click, next, install. Now, how do I start? You search here, bash. Search here, bash. So if you search bash, you will see git bash. And you click on that. You click on git bash. Git bash. So bash. And here. Are you guys able to see the Linux dollar prompt? Give me thumbs up. If you're able to get this level, means you're good, right? The Mac users, I'm hoping you have terminal. If you're terminal, you should be fine. Nothing wrong in that. Makes sense or not? But as long as you are able to see somehow bash, I'm not a Mac guy, so I don't know how they are able to see, but Windows user, when they search bash, they see git bash, and then it will bring you here. Good. People on phone, David, others, Jan, how are you guys doing? Mohammed is saying yes, no problem. Michael is good. Good. David,
Good.
David, are you okay? Yeah, give me thumbs up. Very simple. Your thumbs up is not coming to me, my friend. Today you are very expensive. Seems like thumbs up. Maybe your thumbs up is not visible. Everyone thumbs up is coming smoothly, right? Some acknowledgements, so at least I know we are together. Yeah. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So at this moment, I count everyone has Git. Now, Git has a 9 to 12 commands. It's not that complex. That's all I use like that. Majority command like add, commit, and push, I use more often. Nowadays, I don't, but when I was working as a developer, I was using maybe hundreds of times in a day. But you should know commands because sometime in interview, people will ask command, hey, what Git commands are you using? You should be knowing about the command. Now, Git is based on Linux. So you can see the terminal is Linux. So the Vikram, are you okay?
Yeah.
Huh? Are you able to install?
I'm working on it.
Okay. Yeah. Again, I'm not against Mac, please.
Yeah.
But this class has a lot of software which will work better in a Windows than Mac. Because in real life, honestly speaking, Mac is for only people who know that part. In my company, I have 800 to 900 people, right? How many Mac we are using? 10 plus 2, 12. And out of 10, they only do web development. Most because graphics artists and all, because everyone had a Mac, but there are certain software, it's very difficult for them to download, install. And some companies don't support easily. So you have to go through struggle. So what we are now doing is we're giving profilers. So they can install Windows Profiler. Whenever they want to toggle, they can toggle. They can still use Mac machine, but Windows Profiler. Another thing I mentioned last time, go to Dell, Amazon.com, buy Dell used machine. These are $200, $250. It's a wonderful investment. This is lifetime will work. Your machine will not have a problem because first you want to make sure you have easy. Because you're learning something, it should be easy for you to do commands. Then you go for harder one. Mac will make it harder in certain areas. Again, I'm just telling you, my role is to explain whichever works for you. $250 make life easy. I would rather invest that. Okay, keep your Mac for extra work, but such kind of lab or easy, you can use Windows. Okay, now let's start with a few things. Here you write PWD. PWD stands for present working directory. Present working directory means where you are. PWD, where you are. So you can see my user is ITEXPS. That's my user. You may have your own users. Now, why it is important? Because that's your root directory. And from there, you are going to create project-specific folder. One person, please understand, one person can work on multiple projects. And every time you work on multiple projects, you will have multiple folders. So if you do not know Linux command, you can't switch folder. Remember CD command, CD for change directory. So I have small videos and all, okay? Please understand, this kind of class make harder for someone who has not studied anything. That's why, as I said before, last time I also mentioned, this is a capstone class. Capstone class means you are connecting all dots, Linux, web services, cloud, everything you're connecting together. Right, this is the capstone ultimate class. So it's very important. So what I have done is for those who have never studied Linux and all, on our forum, I have added a small video. So if you scroll down, this is the what videos I have. This is small videos are there. So you can learn some Linux command, how to use Linux command and all. I have put together some crash course. So you can learn. Those who have studied Linux command, you don't need to worry about because we went through a lot more commands. So I'm going to put a link in the forum so you can follow along. My role is tonight is to make sure I smoothly take you, but I will not teach you Linux because it will be beyond the today's topic. Make sense? You must know Linux in order to perform DevOps work. So those who are not used to Linux, don't worry. There are only few commands you should be knowing and you should be good to go. Few commands. For you, first commands will be new, but if you watch this video, then you can practice also. But without Linux command, you can't work with the Git. Make sense? Every command I'm going to explain. If you follow along, Linux has two rules. First, lowercase. First, lowercase. And second thing, space has to be very careful. Command are always lowercase. And whenever you use space, be careful where to use space. So right now we use the first command. The command we use pwd. That's called present working directory. If you want to clear the screen, you write a command called clear. You write a command called clear. And when you write a command clear and press enter, it will clear the screen. So you can do that. So far, so good. Now, we are going to bring the code from repo. So right now, who created repo? You created. I joined your team. I'm joining Agile team. I'm working with your brand new team. So you, as a DevOps, you will give me URL. Say, hey, use this URL and download your code base. So now let's say I joined the first day. Vishal is a DevOps guy. So Vishal will go to repository. So Vishal will come here. Vishal will click on this one. In your repository, click here. So Vishal say, you know what? Everyone who is working on this project, he will click here and get the URL. So check it out. So this is only Vishal will have access because Vishal is admin. So Vishal will come here and say, Vishal will copy. Who will copy? Vishal. And this Vishal will give this URL to the development team. Guys, this is your project URL. Vishal might have created 3 URL for project A, project B, project C. But Vishal will only give project A to project A team, project B to project B team, project C to project C team. Make sense? This URL only happen when you have created repo. So only you can create repo. Make sense or not? Any questions so far? So let's say Vishal gave me the URL. So normally I copy the URL, then I go to command prompt. So far so good. Now here, please understand what we're going to do. We're going to write command git, lowercase, then with a space, then we'll say clone, then space, and right click and paste. Right click and paste. When you right click, the URL will be pasted. Please pay attention, don't go fast. Git is the command. Clone means you are saying whatever the things you have on a server, I want to make same in my local machine. So I'm cloning. Cloning means mirror copy. Cloning means mirror copy. And the URL you give, this Git will go to that URL because you're cloning. So same folder. So over there, my folder name is June 18. It will bring June 18 as a folder.
Will it bring all the versions too?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't need to bring all version, but it knows the version is there because now you connect. So you will see difference.
But it will bring the latest version.
It will always bring latest version because the Git goal is every time you create a version, every time you get. So if you bring too much, it will be a trouble because there are lots of copy will happen. But it brings latest. It also maintains old. So if you want to bring, you can, but it maintains at server side. But you will get the latest. So right now, I'm going to write Git. Please understand lowercase, clone, lowercase, space, and right click and paste it. So check it out. Git, space, clone, space, right click and paste it. This is my project. So when I run this command and press enter, it will create a folder called June 18 and it will bring all the files. Remember, we have 3 files: git ignore, readme, and data.txt. It will download all those files in my local machine. Make sense or not? Press enter and give me thumbs up if it works.
Where will it go in the local machine?
I will show it. Yeah. So far so good. So please understand, Git clone, this is something Vikram, no one in college will teach you. So you will be, I'm sorry to say that, you will not even know how to work on this real life because people struggle. Kids are finding themselves, but teacher and professor don't teach how Git works and all. If you don't know, then how you will work in a real software development industry? Make sense? So that's why very difficult for the brand new engineer because they don't have tools and technology. When I was teaching internship here, like long time back, we used to have 9th, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. So we used to teach that. But somehow kids do not want to study computer science. Most of the kids like to do games and music and sports. So this is harder for them. I thought this is easy, but in college, it's pretty hard realization. At this moment, if you read carefully, it says, I brought all the files. So it brought all the files and it created a folder called June 18. So all the file under June 18 folder. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to do CD, lowercase CD, and I'll say June 18. I'm going to do June 18 and press enter. So that way I can go to this folder where I downloaded the code. All code is in June 18. So let's do that. So we'll do say CD June 18 and press enter. CD space June 18 and press enter. So you can say CD space June 18. You can see right now it's saying main. So you are in a main branch. Okay. And if you do PWD, you are in June 18. And if you do LS means list, you will see all your files. Give me thumbs up. So first you did CD June 18, then you did PWD, and you can say LS and you can see the file.
Git.ignore on.
I'll show you. Everything I'll show you, don't worry. Good so far? Now we shall ask dot git ignore is not visible. If you have studied Linux, you know the answer. Hidden. Excellent. That's the correct answer.
Hidden.
In Linux, all dot file is hidden. So if you want to know where is, you can do ls space -a, right? So you can see attribute file. So in this case, you will see git ignore. So ls space -a, which will give you git ignore. Make sense? But can I, if somebody asks them, you should know about because it's a Linux hidden file. Good. At this moment, what we have is our local machine. If I want to clear the screen, clear. If I want to see PWD, I can do PWD. If I want to do ls -l, ls space -l, ls space -l, I can see my files, which I just got. Any questions so far? ls space -l. Any questions so far? Anything which is confusing? Good. People on phone? Good. Now, sorry. Good. Sorry. You need a mouse. Right click, paste. You should never type. If you are typing, you are in wrong career path. Remember one thing, copy and paste, because Linux do not type. Because a minor small mistake, you're going to spend whole day. Everything should work, copy, paste. So if you are copied from the green button, right, then you right click and paste it. But try not to type it. There is no point to type because if you make mistake, you end up in different direction. Linux is very case sensitive and space sensitive. Good. Are you sure you are using computer right? Yes. If you have window, you need to do use window and right click paste. Not do control. So there is a square, right? Square. Just click on it. Yeah.
Yeah, do it now.
Any other questions on the phone?
What is the -L showing?
List. It shows list. You can see nice list, right? You can see nice list. Means everything is list. If you remove that, it will only show you the file. But if you do L -L, you will see everything in a list format. Okay. Good. Okay. Now, please understand, if you have choice to buy computer, always buy Dell. Always buy Dell. I can tell you, there is at least 99.99% I can give you guarantee you won't have any problem. Now, we are here. The most important thing we'll do, we have a lot of command to do because it's 802, so we'll do couple of commands. Ready? So first thing, anytime you are doing some work, there are three types of things you do. Either you add something, you change something, or you delete something. Do you guys agree? So what we just did is we got a clone. We got a clone. Clone means my copy and server copies are identical. Do you agree? How would I know this is identical? So I am already in a folder, clone folder. Do you know how did I get CD June 18? You guys agree or not? CD June 18, I went to that folder. So I'm in a June 18 folder. If I don't know, I can do PWD, so I can make sure. Now write this command, git space status, git space status, and it will tell you everything looks good. Why it looks good? Because you did clone. Yes or no? So when you do clone, you have identical copy. Now, I want to make sure you understand one important thing, because it's very important that you understand. Many times people focus on learning command, they don't focus on internal details. Because in your interview, internal details will be very helpful. If you do not know command too many, you can always do Googling. But internal details you cannot do Google, because then you have to read more and it will take time. So always remember, if you are taking into this career path, concept has to be clear. If you are not good in a concept, then you will be most task oriented, and task oriented, you will not enjoy the job. Every small task will take long time. Concept has to be very clear, because you have to solve many problems in a very lightning fast. So right now what will happen, you have a cloud, you got that clone. So when you got a clone, you got that file. Now, here, if I add something, if I change something, or if I remove something, these are the three things I can do, right? I can add file, I can change file, or I delete file. Make sense? So if I do that, git status will maintain the change. Why? Because let's see here. Your original, you brought original. Make sense or not? So this original history right now, it's in your local machine. So now if I add any file, git status will check, what is there? Answer is no. It say, hey, you added. Let's say if I change something, then it will say, oh, this file was there, you modify. Let's say if I remove something, oh, this is you remove. So git status command check local repository. The local repository created because when you use clone command. So git status command check local repository and try to find out what you are doing. So far so good. Git status is not make a call. Git status is not making call to cloud. It is making call to local repository. Sometimes we call staging. Speak with me. Staging. First, give me 2 minutes. So please understand, until you get clone to staging, staging won't happen unless you are clone. Git status has no idea that there is a server, because only you get by cloning. So now I want you to understand, your staging, all developer will have its own staging. Do you guys agree? Because they all done a clone. So staging, and whatever you do in your local machine, it will keep track with comparison with your staging. So far so good. So now, please understand, if you add something, the git will say, ultimately what's your goal? Your goal is to take this file here. But it is not that easy. So what git will say, that you add something, then you have to add first in a repository. If you change something, you have to update repository. If you remove something, you update repository. How you update? With two commands, add and commit. Add and commit. So when you add and commit, you are updating staging. So now there are two people, like example, I'm having staging one, another person, they will also have staging. But original started with same. Original started with same, but they all have done different type of change. So far so good. So staging they have different now because they're working, they're making changes. So staging is there. They did add commit, but then both wanted to push them. So if you want to push it, the last command is push. So when you push it, then your changes what you have in your staging, add, change, or remove, whatever you did will go to cloud. So far so good. So which command is pushing to the cloud? Push command. But push command you cannot do unless you do add and commit. Why add and commit needed? Because until you do add and commit, your local changes, I'm using proper word, local changes are not in a local repository. Once your repository, I'll answer your question, hold for a few minutes. Local repository has to be complete with add commit. After you do add commit, if you do git status, there is no change. At that time, you can push it. You cannot push without updating your repo. Now you may say, but I don't want to add that. Then you remove it. And you can say, ignore this file or delete this file. But you cannot push until this guy knows all change you made. And that is called add and commit. Now, if you try to push it, first thing you need to log in. First thing you need to log in. You all will get error. You all will get error. So when you get an error, why you get an error? Because you don't have username and password set up. So we need to set up config. We need to set up config. This is only one time you need to do config. Only one time in your life. So you need to set up config that my username is this and my email address is this. My username is tspatel02. Your username is that, whatever you, so you tell your username. And then it will pop up a dialog box. Listen carefully, I'm speaking in English. It will pop up a dialog box. You will click authentication. You will click. This is very important for Windows user. Mac user, I'm not 100% sure. I'm hoping it will be similar. So you will have a pop-up small dialog box. Authenticates. You will say authenticate with browser. You will say authenticate with browser. So remember, you are already logged in. You are already logged in. You are logged in with Git repo. So your browser will automatically log in and then you're connected. Until you connect, you can't do push. Makes sense? Now, two people are trying. They both have to log in. They both have to log in. They all have the same thing. They have to configure first. Without configuration, you cannot push it. So when you configure it, then you will be asked password. Only one time it will ask password. So please don't make mistakes. Once you enter password, it will not ask again. Why? Because it knows where is your account. Now, when you push it, listen carefully. Let's say I did this thing. When I did this exercise and you push it, so when you push it, what happened? The cloud version will change version 1 because you push it. Now this guy tried to push it, it will error out because he has a version 1. So this guy has version 1. He has version and cloud has version 1. Make sense? Because this guy has changed it. Yes or no? Anytime you change it, it say, wait a minute, you are working on old copy. You are working on a old copy. You can't work. So now this guy has no choice. He has to use command called pull because somebody made a change before him. So he has to pull. Pull means whatever the new items are there, bring it. Whatever the item change, bring it. So you're pulling. Once he pull, he can commit and push it.
So going back to the first step where you did a clone, right? And from the central repository, you created a copy in your local repository.
Right.
And then you tried to make a change in the local repository. And then you said it will not go through unless you add or commit to the local repository. But how, but you said that it is not going out to the central repository to compare.
Mhm.
So does that mean it is comparing, it has two versions in the local repository where it's comparing the changed version with the original cloned version?
Yeah, that's why you did clone. And when you do clone, you create a whole Git structure in your local machine, .git. So it maintains every action you are doing. That's why you can work from airport. Good.
So it's only comparing it to
It's
the
local.
cloned version in the local
Correct.
repository.
That's
not
called
to the-
staging.
Yeah, not.
That's what the reason you are not comparing to outside, because you don't need internet. You can work when you're doing camping. That's the beautiful part about Git, because it doesn't make connection to the internet unless you want to. This SVN continuously you have to make connection. Here
So
you
then
don't
when you want to push, that's the first time you have to do the
have that
config.
connect. At that time, whenever you have internet, you push it. But if you don't have internet, you continue work. SVN doesn't allow that possibility. That's a big difference between Git. You see that? Because you have your own copy locally and you continuously work without any difficulty. People on phone, any questions?
So just so I'm clear, if two people are working on the same file,
Mhm.
if somebody makes an update and doesn't tell the other person
Mhm.
that they've updated, and the other person's just typing away and then goes to do a commit,
Mhm.
they kind of get screwed because they don't have the latest copy, and now they've got to pull the file, pull their code out, put it into the new file, right?
Very good. So first of all, your question is valid. But remember, I told you we work as an agile team. Yes, sir. In agile team, we are in the same room, daily stand-up. We do coordination, communication, right? We do everyday transparency. Hey, I'm changing this file. Hey, I changed it. Transparency. You change it, I'll take it. Adaptability. If team does not communicate, that's not a team.
Can you-
Make sense?
His question, I didn't hear.
This question is, one person push it, how would other person will know, right? You will not know unless you communicate. And it is possible you might be working with old copy and you try to push it, you will have a lot of problem. But in agile, that doesn't happen, because when you are working together, you communicate. Hey guys, I'm working on shopping cart today, and I will be modifying this file. Oh, you're working shopping cart, which file? Let's do pair programming. Very simple. So unless you do coordination communication, problem will be there. But if you do coordination communication, problem will not be there. But let's assume I'm on vacation. I came after 10 days. First thing, my habit is pool, because in 10 days people have work. So it's very human nature. If I want latest, I will do pool, because without pool I can't push it. Let me repeat. Without pool I can't push. Why? Because what if somebody changes it? My push will always fail. So it's just like when you go to doctor, blood check, you need to have fasting. Without fasting, you can't do blood check. So same thing, if you want to push it, you do pull first and then you push.
So pull is the same thing as clone, except it's
Not same thing. Please remove that word. Pull is just to bring new change.
new change, not the whole file.
Clone is creating whole structure, hidden structure. So it compare your staging. The staging created by clone. Pull doesn't create that. Pull just bring new changes. So like example, you have version 1, which is you've got, let's say 7 o'clock, and 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, some file change. Pull only bring those files, but clone brings everything. Makes sense? And clone only one time in life you run. Pull you can run as many times as you want.
Will it give an error if you try to run clone again? Or will it just mess things up?
No, it will overwrite. It will overwrite that content, but then you will lose history. So it's very difficult to run again. Why? You will lose history. So like if you have anything working in progress, you will not be able to figure it out. Now you are in trouble. So what I would do, I would create a new folder and all to make around, because you don't want to lose history. The whole exercise is to maintain the version history. So if you lose history, it's a big thing. Good.